This is second part of our video about the PTS controller SDK. In first video we watched how to make its physical connection and how cables are connected, how indication of the operation of PTS controller is made, and in this video we will see how software is configured and is working. So first of all, we will take PTS controller configuration utility located in PTS controller SDK sets of programs under the folder software utilities. Here is a PTS configuration utility. We will first of all open its COM port to which the PTS controller is connected. It is a PC port of the PTS controller to where the POS system is to be connected. Open it, and in front of us we see first of all the configuration of pump channels. Here the PTS controller is configured to have the pump channel number 1. Its communication protocol is unipump and baud rate is set to 9600, and as the dispensers, 8 pumps are connected, all connected to channel number 1, and addresses are from 1 to 8. So 8 dispensers are to be connected to PTS controller. Physical addresses of dispensers are from 1 to 8, and logical addresses are also from 1 to 8 for the POS system. Write this configuration, and system asks us to make sure that the parameters are configured. We'll check that parameters are set. Parameters for unipump protocol are is a multiplier of those. We'll make the default value of it equal to 1 and make sure that it is set for all the 8 pumps, everywhere 1 set. Close it, and also we will set the configuration for ATG channels. Here we have 3 ATG channels. We will need the channel user. Channel user is set to start LAN communication protocol, and the baud rate is also set to 9600, and we will use 4 ATG probes on this user channel with physical addresses from 1 to 4. Here are the physical addresses, and here are the logical addresses, how the POS system will see these probes, also from 1 to 4. Also we will check that parameters for ATG channels are configured correctly. First of all, it's polling timeout. We can make the default value 2 seconds, but we would like to make it less. Let's make it minimal possible value. Once per 0.72 seconds it will be polled by this value, and there are no flexible configurations of the user channel, so no need to set this option because standard communication adjustments will be used. Write this configuration, close it, and close this COM port. Now we will start first. It will be Naft POS software for petrol stations. We will adjust it and show how it operates. Here I have already Naft POS system installed on drive D. Information about how to install it can be found in technical guides of PTS controller or in user manual of Naft POS software. First of all, what we will do is we will configure the Naft POS software to work with PTS controller and make all the adjustments of it. Running POS set, login password, and we are in. First of all, we will specify quantity of tanks in the system. I already specified in PTS controller configuration that there are 4 tanks, so each of the tanks is to be configured in Naft POS software. How to make it? First of all, we need to enter in database products. Here are products for petroleum in database of all products, like normal petrol, premium, diesel, unleaded. It's like examples already entered in Naft post. It can be modified, it can be deleted, new products can be added. In this video we'll use the standard ones. Now we need to enter the quantity of tanks. Can be 5 tanks, 4 tanks, 3 tanks, and to each tank we will link to the product code, which corresponds to product code in the table of products. Enter tank name and enter contracted name of petroleum used in this tank to be indicated in the system, its contracted name. Here is the product name, full product name, and this is contracted product name. Next we need to enter the bookkeeping remains, how the system leads, what are the remains of fuel according to documents, because there are real remains of fuel in tanks which are measured by the ATG system, and there are bookkeeping remains which are like according to documents, according to waybills, what should be calculated remains of fuel in tank, and when it is compared to real remains fuel in tank we can make like inventory reconciliation, define whether there were some stealings of petrol from petrol station or not. Also here we enter the height of fuel in tanks, and price is set according to this value. Next we need to enter calibration charts of each of the tanks to make the system be able to recalculate from the tank height into tank volume. For example, 37 millimeters in this tank equals to this value of tank volume in liters. So first of all configure tanks, second we will configure according to our petrol station configuration pumps, quantity of pumps to be set, and their linking of nozzles. For example, to pump in pump number 8, nozzle number 1, there are for example 4 nozzles, we can make it lesser, no nozzle, or we can make it bigger, and each of the nozzle we will configure to tank, so to the grade of fuel to be used with this nozzle. This button also calls the PTS controller configuration, so it's possible to reconfigure PTS from the Naft post software. Next, what we will need to do here is to this were the first two most important adjustments. Next, we will move step by step by all the configurations of Naft post software. Tab General. On tab General, we need to set some basic general configuration of the system, like set some permissions in the system, set that level meter is present in the system, so there are ATG systems in the system. This is the most important. We can have here the to open automatically shift or not to open, some general configuration. We will not need them now for this video. Then on tab database there is nothing to be configured. On tab drivers. On tab drivers we will set which drivers will use Naft post for connected equipment. First of all, that we will configure is that we will not have a printer now to make the system simply test, not the real installation. We set that this void driver. For controller over fuel dispensers, we will need to set that it is PTS controller. And in configuration, we will need first of all to set COM port to which the PTS controller is connected. Test that PTS controller is communicating with the system. Yes, it is okay, so the communication is established. Then set that it is configured for 8 dispensers. The quantity of dispensers which we set in the PTS controller configuration. Here are these dispensers: pump 1, pump 1, pump 2, pump 2. So Naft software will be pulling 8 pumps. It can be in any other quantity of pumps that we need. Then we tell that there will be only one PTS controller connected, and we need to set that for this video we need only to read electronic pump totalizers from dispensers. Next, what we need to do is to tell that for pump number 1, it's like pump window number 1, the system will correspond to number 1 of pump in controller. Pump 2 will correspond to pump number 2 in controller. This is logical number of dispenser in controller. Pump 3 to pump 3, pump 4 to pump 4, pump 5 to pump 5. So there is direct correspondence, because we can make that all the pumps in Naft could be correspond to the same or to different values. To make it directly correspond, let's make number 1 to number 1 to number 2 and so on. Nozzle masks, all the nozzles are allowed for these dispensers. Then in tanks driver, we set that it will be a driver of PTS controller. Configure the driver. We have 4 tanks. Set that all of them have the ATG system installed. Quantity of probes is 4. And tanks adjustments is as we have only one PTS controller for communication with ATG systems. We have so it is PTS controller number 1 for all the tanks. It will be made by PTS controller number 1, and ATG addresses are from 1 to 4, because we configure that logical addresses of the ATG systems are from 1 to 4. Source of calibration source. Calibration source is who will recalculate height into volume in the system. There are 2 possibilities. First of all, if the controller returns volume of petroleum in tanks, if the ATG system has possibility to calculate the volume, or if the ATG system doesn't have the volume of in tanks of fuel, Naft can have the calibration charts as we saw, and will itself recalculate height of fuel and water into its volume. So set here Naft, because we will have started arena simulator, and started arena probes return now volume, not volume, but heights of fuel and heights of water and temperature. Next, we will configure payment forms. Payment form, it is forms to be used in system. We will have here all of the forms. These are forms to be used in sales of petroleum. These are payment forms to be used in sales of products. Do not return the payment form on after the sale. Order. Here we have some configuration. Let's set them as their defaults. View. Here we have how the interface will look like of the system. We have here configured 8 pumps of windows of pumps. We have here window of product sales. We have here table of tanks. So it will be shown on the main panel of Naft. Also we have skin selection and view selection adjustments of the system. Pump modes, we here said that all the pump modes will be available to test. Discounts, additional modules, users, user service as a default user without password by default. We can add a password, change a password, but we will not do it in this video. So the configuration is made. I click exit, and now we will run Naft software. In this video we will run trial version of the Naft software. Actually, there is no difference from the full version, because I have here the full internet access. The system starts, and I see that system shows that there are no dispensers and HEG system connection. So all the pump windows show to me off, and table of tanks show that there is empty remains of fuel in tanks. Actually, it's due to that I did not run the software simulators of pumps and software simulator of HEG system, and that's why no indications are shown. Now I will start the pump simulator. Let's take it from software simulators, new pump simulator. Here it is. I open the COM port of it. There will be 8 set properties. Properties are set at 8 pumps. Configurations are set by default. I will make it more convenient for me. And when I click after selection the COM port, I click on button open, and I see that the communication began. In Naft software, I see that the status of dispensers changed to idle, and that's why communication began, and the same I see in log that PTS controller requests status and the dispenser responses with it. I can take up a nozzle on any of the dispensers, and I will see the same in the Naft software. I can just take up on several dispensers and nozzles. Okay, this is regarding the dispensers. Also, we will now connect the HEG system software simulator. I open it in the PTS controller SDK files. I found the HEG probe simulator, configure it to make port number, I believe it was 10. Open port. No, I'm mistaken. The connection is made, and probes began to be pulled by the PTS controller. We see that the 4 probes are being pulled one by one. We will change the level of product level and water level. For interest, we will change that the height of tank is a little bigger. Let's make it in such a way. I believe there was 207,700 level of probes, and here was 3.5. So probes are requested, and now let's watch Naft. Here is we see that remains of fuel changed, and we can even now a little bit play with it. Okay, changing of these values led us to changing of indications in Naft software. So now we see that connection of the dispensers and connection to HEG system is done properly. Now we can play with dispensing of fuel and working in Naft software. Let's try to open the simulator. Let's make some dose to be dispensed on several dispensers. 2 dose. Let's make it 20 liters. 30 liters, 10 liters. First of all, I did not start at a new shift. The system will not let me work in the system until I either start a new session, working shift, or continue a previous one. I had already the previously shift opened, so I continue a shift if I did not have the shift opened. Previously, the system will require me to open a new shift. I had changed the skin under this user in previous in this shift, so the skin was changed to what I said previously. So now I click on start button, and I see that in software simulators the dispensing process began. And we can monitor this in Naft software. This is about Naft configuration. And now we will see some more features about PTS controllers SDK. So Naft system is installed. You can watch a video on how to work in Naft. And now we will see how to make operation in other tools supplied with PTS controller SDK. So for this we will just see some things like fuel and tanks, which are also possible to show border to move as we would like to move on the screen. We will see pump totalizers, which are red after the dispensing is made on every of the pumps, and on this we will stop Naft software, and we'll run other tools for PTS controller SDK operation. For this I will select exit. Also PTS controller SDK has some API tools. First which I would like to show to you is C# net application. Actually it is written in Visual Basic there is version, and there is the same version in C#. I will open C# application. First of all, it will be application of it. Here I have already compiled exe file, but you can open a Visual Studio and compile it yourself or run the existing file. So it is open source application for provision of control over PTS controller. Let's run it. Simple interface. So where I select the COM port, COM5, where is PTS controller connected. Click on open button. And I have also 8 dispensers indicating current status of fuel dispensers. I can open the same as the Naft. I can open simulator and see current status. You can now make all of them dispensing, no matter of which on each of the nozzles. Here I have also possibility to set volume to be dispensed, amount to be dispensed. I can set for each of the nozzles its price. I can link any of these icons of pump to any of the real fuel dispenser. For example, I can make two of the dispensers indicates the same. Or I can make everyone indicates its own. Now we took up the nozzles. I will set the prices for taking up nozzles. Let's make it 6, 7, 8, and let's make some dispensing of it on 10 liters. We'll see how simultaneously 8 dispensers are dispensing. Remember that they are connected to the same PTS controller channel, so they will be pulled by PTS controller one by one. So we see that they are all working and dispensing process is going on. In the end of dispensing, totalizers are also read by the application, and we can view totalizers on the nozzles that was dispensing. Actually, we can even update the totalizers values for any of the specified quantity of nozzles. So this is a simple software which is open source and allows developers to implement the same functionality to have a quick start in development of the software for petrol station. It has also possibilities to view the measurement data in tanks. Here we have a screen for measurements of levels in tanks. I have here the probe simulator. Let's again change something and see how it will be displaying. Let's set that S in tanks. S in tanks. Make here configuration. Make here the height of tank be equal to what is in our simulator. And thus we will, oops, no, and thus we will change the values. Okay, so we have the same numbers in our application. Configuration of the application is made in separate window, where we have the pump configuration, the controller HEG's configuration, parameters configuration, and version of the current version of PTS controller and protocols, dates of firmware assembly. So this is a quite simple but powerful application in open source in VB.NET version language or in C# language, which could be quite useful for developers to have a quick start. Now we will watch on another application. Close this application, and we have also for languages like C#, Visual Basic using COM-object, Java, VB.NET. We have another application. I will show it in C#, but actually it is the same for all the languages, the same form. It's called API, also in source codes, bin, debug. Here it is. It is application which allows to make all the operations with PTS controller. We will see how it works. First of all, select COM port with connected PTS controller. Open it. COM port opens. Now we'll also need the simulator. We can request any of the pumps. Pump 1, nozzle 1, requested status dispenser is not locked. Lock the dispenser. Dispenser is locked. Nozzle 1 is taken up. Nozzle 1 is taken up. We can authorize it on, for example, volume or money amount. Authorize it. Dispenser is authorized. And request current information about how much fuel was dispensed. So completely provides management over PTS controller. It's made in source code, open source code, so that developers could see how the code of software is written and could implement the same functions in their application. No need to implement the communication protocol. Communication protocol is already have a source code. It's already written in programming language, and developers only need to implement the functions for provision of control into their software. Transaction is finished. We close the transaction. We can request totalizers. Here are totalizers. We can get prices on the dispenser. We can stop the dispenser. We can also get the tank, leveling tank. It's 2662. 2662 is the same value. So it's quite powerful utility also for configuration and of PTS controller and pumps. Close this window. The same utility is written in the Java, in visualbasic.net, in Visual Basic language using a COM object for PTS controller. And also for PTS controller we have API with open source examples in Python language, in Delphi, in C language. Here is the description of the communication protocol of PTS controller. Which describes all the sets of commands. How communication with PTS controller is made and what are the commands to be sent from PTS control from post system to PTS controller, and which are the responses, how PTS controller responses, and how to provide control over the fuel dispensers and ATG systems using the PTS controller. PTS controller SDK is applied with user manuals for each of the boards with some software utilities which are well described in the manual in technical guide for PTS controller, and provides for developers easy way for implementation of PTS controller into their software. Thank you for watching this video. In case of any technical questions or assistance, you can also always address to us. Contacts can be found on our website. And we will be always glad to cooperate and work with you and to help you with any information regarding our products.